downtown where you can get a date for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. Now available in paperback and Kindle. Stop simping in cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. A modern woman took to social media to complain that a $30 Cash App gift given to her by a man wasn't enough money to buy her lunch.
Okay, so y'all, story time. So y'all, please tell me if I'm wrong. So today this dude wrote me on Instagram and he was like, can I send you money? Let me send you money for lunch. So I was like, okay. I wrote him back and I was like, send it. So he wrote me and was like, okay, what's your Cash App? So I sent him the Cash App. Yeah, I just knew I was finna open my Cash App and I was finna have at least probably about $100. You get what I'm saying? Because like, that's I eat and that's how much I spend on my food. Yeah, I opened my Cash App and this man sent me $30. Yeah, yes, $30. And I'm just like, at first I'm like, damn, like, am I ungrateful? Like, am I fucked up? Like, the feeling like, why the fuck would you send me $30? But then I had to ask people and they was like, nah, because I'm like, $30 is not even half a tank in my car. Like, what the fuck you thought I was gonna go to Chick-fil-A? Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what did you think I was gonna eat? It's like, when I go and eat, I eat full course meals. Like, I order a appetizer, a entree, and a dessert and a drink. That can't even get me 2 drinks. Like, what the fuck? And then this man had the audacity to write me back and say, let me get to know you. Why the fuck do you think I'm gonna let you get to know me and you just send me $30 for lunch? Is you dumb? I mean, like, y'all be for real. Like, tell me, am I wrong? Like, am I fucked up? Like, is my head fucked up? Like, I don't even spend $30 on lunch on my, like, I spend over that on myself. So it's like, for someone to think they're gonna send me, I get that this is not the account. Like, you didn't have to send the $30, but it's like, no, like, nigga, I'm not that type of, I'm not one of them.
Now, in this video on TikTok, this social media so-called influencer Ari Nicole decides to go and air out a dude for sending her a Cash App for lunch for $30. And according to Ari Nicole, she says that she was upset because this guy sent her $30 for lunch online on Cash App. And according to her, that's not enough money to be able to pay for her lunches. Because according to her, she needs $100 to be able to pay for her lunches because she likes to eat at expensive places and buy expensive drinks and full course meals with appetizers, meals, and desserts. And for her, she believes that if a man wants to send her money for lunch, then he needs to go out here and give her $100 and not the $30 that she was given. Now, Ari Nicole's reaction is a textbook example of the spoiled, rotten behavior that many modern women participate in on social media, because many of those women have been enabled by cyber simps to believe that they deserve things that they should not have. And in the case of this modern woman, she has been enabled to have such a sense of entitlement by all of the cyber simps that she believes that a $30 Cash App donation for lunch is beneath her. And she goes to social media to express her contempt to everyone because in her mind, she believes that she is entitled to a $100 lunch at one of these gourmet restaurants and believes that she is entitled to be given a gourmet meal of 3 courses with an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert and drinks. And the minimum for her for lunch is somebody spending $100 on her. But when I look at this woman, I wouldn't take this chick to the Arab red and white chicken place for 4 pieces of chicken for $2. Because this woman's character basically shows me that she has no respect or regard for any of the people that go out of their way to give her money And she really doesn't really show respect for all of those guys who pay attention to her. Now, I talk about how many of these women online are female predators in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And what's happening here with Ari Nicole is she's a textbook example of the kind of female predator that I try to tell men to avoid in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Because what a woman like her does is go out here and post pictures and videos of herself on social media for all of these thirsty guys online to get a picture of. And as they see pictures of this woman, what they do is run over to their DMs and try to get her attention, trying to foster a covert contract with this woman where they believe if they pay attention to her, what she will do is hopefully try to make a personal connection with them for a relationship. And many of these guys don't really understand that this basically is a scam. It's a scam designed to take advantage of them, because while they are caught up in their feelings about her appearance, what they don't understand is she's using her appearance to try to go out here and get these dudes to get into their wallets. And what she wants to do is basically turn a cyber simp into a cyber trick. And the whole goal is to get these men to keep coming out of their pocket and dropping all sorts of PayPal and Cashapp drops and drop that money on that woman. And she knows she's never really interested in any of these guys. All she's interested in is getting paid at their expense. So while these guys are sitting there at home with their ashy dicks and extra dry balls, she's sitting in a gourmet restaurant with a pookie, spending his money. And as she's spending these dudes' money, what she's doing is having a good time at that meal with Pookie. And after they have that meal, she's taking him back to his mama's house, getting in the racing car bed, dropping the skid mark jockey thong, and allowing this other dude to blow the back out as he puts the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor. And these guys are basically sitting here thinking, oh, I got a shot at this woman liking them. But this woman basically shows how little respect she has for those men, because she's sitting there saying that, oh, this guy basically wanted to send me a Cash App for lunch, and for her, $30 just isn't enough money for her. Well, let me tell you what you can actually do with $30. Again, $30 to me is a lot of money, and $30 basically can buy you a whole lot of groceries from the supermarket. And you can go out and buy yourself all of the ingredients for a 3-course meal with $30 if you know how to work the circulars at supermarkets. That's something I learned to do over the last 40 years. I learned how to work the circulars in the supermarkets to be able to build and create a meal. Moreover, I learned how to cook from my mother and watching cooking shows like the ones that Gordon Ramsay and many other great chefs like Lydia Bastianic have made. And I learned how to cook, and I learned how to make my own food for a fraction of the money. Unfortunately, because this woman, Ari Nicole, basically grew up in a dysfunctional fashion, she doesn't understand the value of a dollar, and she doesn't appreciate the money that's given to her, and she would rather go out here and blow $100 on fast food and go to these restaurants to try to put up some sort of image to clout chase as related to making herself appear to be prestigious. And that's what this woman is doing, trying to make us think that she's some sort of asset. But in actuality, what she's showing most men of character like myself is that she's a high maintenance individual, and being a high maintenance individual just basically makes you into a liability. And it makes you into a liability for a man because you're showing that you're not going to be able to help that man meet his needs because, one, if you gotta go to a expensive restaurant for lunch, then you're showing me, one, you just can't cook, and two, you're showing me that you can't manage money because a quality woman who can manage money understands that going to one of these restaurants is a treat for a wife. It is not some place that you go out here and take a woman just for the sake of taking her. And that's basically showing me again why this woman is dysfunctional, because she has this sense of entitlement that makes us think that she thinks she's owed to be taken to these fancy restaurants for these gourmet 3-course meals, when in actuality, again, all this woman deserves is a slice of pizza and a Pepsi from the local pizza place, or she deserves that red and white chicken 2-piece meal, and if a guy is feeling real nice, he can get her an apple pie that's fried, or the shrimp fried rice and chicken wangs. That's all this woman deserves, because she's showing this and every man that she's going to be a bad reflection on him, because if she feels entitled to spending your money, then she's showing you how she doesn't appreciate you as a man and doesn't respect you as a man. Because if you're sitting here thinking that you deserve the high life, it basically shows me that this woman really wasn't really raised in a home with a father, because a girl who's been raised in a home with a father, she understands the value of that man's dollars and understands that you're not entitled to $100 for lunch. No, a woman with a father in her life, who, when she grew up as a girl, understands that places like McDonald's are a treat, and understands even a slice of pizza, that's at the time when I was younger was $1 or so, that's a treat. And the food that you get basically from home is far better than anything you get in a restaurant. But when you have been raised with no father and no man to show you what a man is all about as related to providing, what happens is you get these unrealistic pictures of relationships, and that's basically what this woman has, a completely unrealistic picture of relationships that has been programmed into her mind by the dysfunctional media of Madison Avenue in Hollywood. And as she was sitting there, possibly sitting there watching these soap operas, watching these romance movies, watching these Disney princess movies, and watching much of this dysfunctional American media, like TV shows like Sex and the City, and shows like Girlfriends and other shows, she was shown an extremely dysfunctional picture of relationships, and she's following this dysfunctional relationship paradigm, and that dysfunctional relationship paradigm basically is going to lead to this woman winding up becoming one of the 70% of black women who will be single for the rest of their lives. And I talk about these types of dysfunctional women and the life paradigm of failure that they have been taught in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And this black woman is basically going to wind up on the road to becoming single because she's sitting there with this mindset of entitlement, believing that she's owed $100 for lunch, when in actuality, when it comes to $100, when you add that up a day, 100 times 7 is $700 a week just for lunch. And if you're eating 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at $100 a pop, this is going to come out to be about, I'd say about $2,100 a day. And 2,100 times 7, yeah, we're talking about a couple of $100,000, and that's basically somebody's salary. But this woman thinks that this is supposed to be the kind of money you're supposed to spend on her, and the only person spending that kind of money is a fool, because only a fool is going to go out here and spend $700 a week on just one meal, and $2,100 overall on 3 meals. And again, this kind of money is the kind of money that a man could basically have in the bank for himself. But this woman feels like she's owed this man's money, and that's where this woman's, again, unrealistic expectations show us why this woman's high maintenance is going to lead to her basically winding up in bust downtown in the 50, 60, 70, or even 80% off discount price, because no guy is going to want to deal with her the same way that most men don't want to deal with a BMW after they own it for a couple of years, because a BMW is also known to a lot of guys as a prestigious car, and a lot of guys would go out here and buy the BMW to go out here and brag to their friends. A lot of these simps will go out here and buy a BMW thinking, oh, I got a big high-end car, until they go out here and have an issue with that car, and that's when they find out BMW means bring my wallet, because oftentimes you're going to have issues with that BMW that are going to cost $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to fix, and that's why most men do not go out here and use a BMW and buy a BMW to go out here and so-called clout chase. No, many of the smart guys, they'll go out here and get themselves a Toyota Camry, or they'll get themselves a Honda Accord or a Subaru WRX, or maybe even go get them one of these old box Chevys, or one of these old 3800 Buick cars like the Riviera, the LeSabre, the I believe it's called the LaCrosse. Again, all of those cars are very reliable, and you have low maintenance. But when it comes to the high maintenance car, yeah, you got people looking at you, but it's eating you alive in cost. And the same thing applies to these women who are high maintenance like this. Eventually they wind up costing you nothing but problems, and it winds up overwhelming you. So this woman's sitting up here again with this sense of entitlement, believing that she's owed $100 for lunch, and that was enabled by all of these cyber simps who themselves did not have a father in their life to teach them how to be a man or what a man needs to do. No, these guys were never taught anything about how to navigate life in relationships, because $100 is not what you send to a woman in a Cash App for lunch. No, $100 is something that you could buy groceries for a week, and $100 at the supermarket can buy you a lot of groceries. I mean, $100 at the supermarket can get you a tub of ground beef. If you want to make hamburgers, $100 can get you a loaf of bread, can get you or a couple of bags of French fries, and you can get all sorts of different things to make different meals. No, you won't have to go out if you know how to cook. And this woman basically shows that she's a liability. She's thinking that, oh, she's mad at this guy for sending her a Cash App of $30. But what she doesn't understand is how she offended all of her viewers by complaining about them sending them $30, because they don't have to send you $30. No, when it comes to all of those people on social media, they do things out of the gratitude of their heart and out of their care for an individual and compassion for an individual. But oftentimes, these women don't appreciate anything because they've been spoiled by so many cyber simps. Many of these kind of modern women like this aren't like me, who can express their gratitude to all of the people on social media who go out of their way to go out here and drop a donation to the PayPal or the Cash App. I mean, I really appreciate all of my viewers who go out of their way to send me a donation. And I wouldn't treat my viewers this way by thinking that, oh, I'm owed their money, because I understand that if I go out here and create content, I am working for that money, sometimes as related to requested videos, and in other cases, I do that work because I want to go out here and create great content. And again, people send me these kinds of donations because they appreciate the content, and I want to show my respect for all of those individuals who do drop those kinds of donations, because I really, again, appreciate everything that you're doing, because that helps me to be able to continue to stay on the air. But this woman doesn't really appreciate anything, because for her, these cyber simps are guys that she sees as a joke. And this expression of contempt shows how little respect she has for those guys, who in many cases sadly won't really wake up and smell the coffee, because they're still too busy trying to sniff her panties online and hoping that they will get a shot. That's why they give this woman this money. But the whole thing is, she's showing how little she regards their money, because again, $30, if you're talking about just for lunch, I can go get a lunch over at Burger King with a coupon for $13.99 if I can get the coupon, or even get a deal like the Wendy's $5 biggie bag, or get something like shrimp fried rice and some half chicken. I mean, I can get that for under $30, and $30 is quite a bit of money for lunch. I mean, you can have lunch for 2 days with that kind of money if you're eating out. And if you go to the market, you can even get more meals for your money if you know how to manage money. But this woman shows she doesn't know how to manage money, and she's an economic liability. An economic liability like a BMW that, as she gets older, is going to require more maintenance. And that's what she really wants to do, get these guys into the trick bag where they're continuing to keep chasing her, and she keeps escalating the price. But the whole social marketplace value of the kind of chick like this is less than $5 food stamps, and you're just wasting your time trying to chase a woman whose social marketplace value is less than a $5 food stamp without the book, and you're just throwing good money after bad, seeking her approval. That's the mistake that many cyber simps make with this kind of woman, and they wind up taking a huge loss as they get involved with her. That's what they take as related to this kind of woman, and what she's showing you is what's really a trend with these kinds of modern women. I mean, I've seen this with the oyster woman, I've seen this with the Cheesecake Factory lady, I've seen this with the woman at the Shake Shack. Many of these women are extremely ungrateful, and they show their disrespect to most modern black men, and most modern black men sadly are still seeing this as a skit, not seeing how you're being directly disrespected straight to your face. Because when you go out of your way to express your gratitude to someone out of the kindness of your heart, to send them money for lunch, and they tell you that it's not enough money, that's disrespect directed at you, that shows she has no regard for you or your money. And if any other person, if you gave them $30, would be extremely grateful. Anybody who has known how to struggle would appreciate that. I mean, if you gave that same $30 to a homeless individual, they would be grateful for that kind of money, and they would take that money and do more with it than this woman would, because this woman basically shows that she doesn't care about your money, and she doesn't care about you. That's what many of the cyber simps don't really understand about this whole video. This video is another one in a trend of women who basically are showing that they have no respect for men, and they have no respect for men because they never learned to respect their fathers. And since they never learned how to respect their fathers and learn about what the struggles of a man goes through to make any money, They have all, again, completely distorted picture of the world, and I really feel for all of the guys of this generation if this is the kind of woman you need to deal with, because I remember in my day of being a Gen Xer in high school, I had to deal with these kind of girls, and the way I dealt with them was I wasn't giving them a red cent. No, I left them to Pookie and Ray Ray, and any smart man would leave these modern women alone and let them crash in reality and find out that there is no high-value simp charming who's going to put up with their high-maintenance mess. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid online predators like this and avoid wasting your money trying to get their attention, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and the $14 you spend on that paperback or the $5 you spend on that ebook or audiobook will save you thousands and even millions of dollars and save you a lot of stress and grief and save you from getting your time wasted. So that book can really help transform your life and help you to leave chicks like this online alone and focus on your purpose and building yourself up. And you can find that book on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many Black women can't find a husband and why 70% of Black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.